Hello, it's Benitez22 again. Sorry for the hiatus. I've been a little busy with finishing up school and a new job. And I honestly don't know how many actually watch anything on my channel, especially involving games or accessories or whatever I find. I just don't know how many of you actually do that, but if you are following me because of that, I apologize for the major break. What I'm going to be showing you is something I recently came across. It's not a new device, but it is fairly cool. I think it's well designed, and I think you guys should find it and go get it if you can. What I'm now showing you guys is the Batman Arkham City Batarang controller for the Xbox 360. Like I said, this thing is not exactly a new item that just showed up on shelves or anything, but it's something that I just recently found myself. I knew about it, then I found it at a Best Buy and I couldn't resist. And yes, I mean, Arkham City is a very cool game. If I can ever capture video for my gameplay, I will definitely do things like guides and any playthroughs and tips and whatnot. Anyway, I digress. So right now I'm going to show you this nifty little thing. Right now I've got it connected to my laptop, so I can show you, everything it can do when it's powered on. Right now this is the basic power on mode, as you can see with our light right there. The design is fairly cool, and yes, it is a wired controller. There are no wireless versions of this. With one feature in particular, there is a reason why it's wired, and I'll show you a little later. Let's take a look at the back. There's no battery pack, obviously. You got your little Batman Arkham City seal of approval right there. See? It has a port for wired controllers, but because of the bottom shape, it cannot use the attachment for the chat pad. A little bit of a drawback. Another thing people might think as a drawback is the D-pad here. Now, the D-pad, as you can see, doesn't seem to be the usual D-pad for a 360. Whether it's the traditional one or the one that's the rotational D-pad that I've seen and I actually do own. Now, you might think this is kind of a hindrance, especially for the Arkham City game. But actually, you can do this fairly well, and it actually works a lot better with selecting gadgets that are kind of off to the side on your screen, on your menu select for your weapons and gadgets. And it's also really good for single directions as well. It has a good feel to it. The thumbsticks are rubberized, pretty much like the other ones, a little smoother though. Might make for a slightly harder time if you're really in a session and your fingers might slip. I don't know if it's just me actually, but the thumbsticks, at least this one, seems a little bit sensitive. But it might be because this is the main one people use to walk around in a 360 game. And then of course you got your standard A, B, X, and Y buttons, as well as your shoulder and trigger buttons. One thing that's a little different is this right here. They basically shifted the guide button down a little bit and shrank it, and above it they've actually added an extra button along with the back and start. Now, of course, back and start do what they usually do. Guide button does what it usually does, but here is one of the special things about the controller. That's right, it's one of those lovely glow-in-the-dark ones. And in case I forgot to mention, I probably did, this controller is actually made by, come on, focus, Power A. You can see it there for a second. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is my iPhone. It doesn't have the best focus. So as you can see, it lights up. Let's move it over here so I got give you guys a better view. There we go. So as you can see, the accents around the grips, which are rubberized, are lit up, along with the A, B, X, and Y buttons and this little area up here. Now that's about all that lights up, and this doesn't seem like it's a big thing, but you press this button again, you can actually change the colors. Now, it sports 7 different colors. So as you saw, it has yellow, blue. I can't really see the change on this, it looks like. But that is a purple. Then you kind of have this orange-red. Then you've got green. Then you have this ice blue. And then you have white. And then back in its off state. Let me get to one of my favorite colors. Actually, you know what? That ice blue looked pretty good for this video. Okay. Now, in general, this controller, besides for design and this little feature with the lights, there's nothing highly special with it. Just like with any wired controller, you can plug it into any Windows PC that's Vista or better, and you can actually use it as a game controller for emulators or other games you have on your console. I've never really tried it with games that are specifically PC, like The Sims or anything, but that would be interesting to take a look at. Oh, another thing I should probably point out, the shoulder buttons, left and right bumpers, are a little smaller on this controller, although I think it makes it, I don't know, I guess it doesn't seem as big a deal. I really don't know if this makes much of a difference. One thing I have noticed while playing some games is because of the placement here of the guide button and the start and back buttons, I less frequently hit the guide button by accident while I'm trying to hit certain buttons or actually trying to hit start, because now I have to consciously make my thumb go up to start, which is actually now a little higher than the guide button rather than on level with it. So it makes hitting the guide button by accident less frequent, and as we all know, sometimes when you hit that guide button, especially in the middle of a game and online gaming in particular, it takes a while for you to get the guide to go away because it's really slow and lagging when you're in the middle of a game. Okay, that's basically all I really have to show you about this. It's a nifty little controller, and definitely not for everybody, because it's got a bit of a learning curve if you're used to the original, and some people might not like this glowing accent going on here, and of course some might want to use their chat pad. Now, I don't say get this exclusively for every game you ever play, but it's definitely designed for the Batman Arkham games, very specifically, but it can still be played very well with the others, and that's basically it. And like I said, you can just customize it however you want, you know, when it comes to the color, and that's it's just pretty nifty. If you find it, it's roughly about $30–35 retail. I don't know if it's a limited edition. This just says collector's edition on the back. And yeah, just if you find it, got the money, go ahead and get this. It's definitely a nice little purchase, and if anything, it's a nice little thing to add a little bit of flavor to your gaming setup.